Jonathan Majors is destroying his brand. He is just destroying his brand. When he was in that situation with him and his ex-girlfriend, he came out not unscathed, but he still had a chance to save his career. He still had a chance to save it. All he had to do was continue to work and keep his personal life private. That's all he had to do. But no, he did something that outraged a group of people that he's trying to appeal to now. And it's not working, and it's destroying his brand. Now, Keke Palme was supposed to be airing an episode with him titled No Easy Answers. It was supposed to be about accountability and moving forward. It was set for April 8th. It was supposed to drop yesterday. When they found out, when black women found out about this, they attacked Keke Palme, Jonathan Majors. They went full force at this episode. They kept saying to her, tagging her network, saying, "Why are you interviewing this convicted abuser?" And the pushback was so so heavy to the point where they replaced the interview with a rapper by the name of Cash Doll. Now, when this happened, everybody was saying, and when I mean everybody, I'm talking about black women, they were saying, that's right, you need to stand on business. They called that standing on business. This is standing on business. Everything else that they never stood business on, this is what they call standing on business. You didn't see them standing on business with Don Imus. Even when Don Imus passed, they had nothing to say. You don't see them standing on business at all. You know what, Usher out here giving women the herp. You don't see them standing on. Did she stand on business with Usher against her own baby father? No, she didn't stand on any of that business. He all in her face, burning. And did she stand on business with Chris Brown? No. I was going to play the video, but there's videos of her sticking up for Chris Brown. Stood on no business at all. No business at all. This is the business they want to stand on. There's websites out there that, you know what websites I'm talking about, that's been up for years. that violates them. They never stand on business with that. But let's just stick with his career. I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to break down why he's taking a hit with his career. When he got with Meagan Good, Jonathan Majors was on his way to becoming an A-list actor. He was on his way to becoming an A-list actor. And if he didn't get with Meagan Good, he would have still been able to do that. It would have took some hard work, but he still would have been able to do that. When he got with Meagan Good, a B-list actor who only have influence with one demographic, that's when everything started to tank for him. That's when everything started to tank for him. Yes, Meagan Good is a B-lister at best.
Damn!
It's a B-list. She's a B-list actor. You want to know the definition of a B-list actor? Huh? Because I know I'm going to hear it. Let me tell you what a B-list actress, a B-list actress. A B-list actress is someone who is recognized and has a level of success, but not to the extent of an A-list actress, often appearing in supporting roles in major projects or lead roles in smaller productions. Does that sound like her? Name a blockbuster movie that she was the star of. Name one. Just one. A blockbuster. Name one. Can anybody name one? Anybody? I'm waiting. A blockbuster. Just with her as the lead actress. As the star. Just one. You're not going to find one. You're not. She's not an A-lister. She's not a bankable star. She's not a bankable star. You're not going to put up any movies with her and they're going to hit 100 mil, 50 mil. She should probably struggle for 30 mil. No, that's not a A-list actress. You want me to list some A-list actress so y'all can understand where I'm going? Let me tell you who the A-list actress are, right? Zendaya or Daya, however you say her name. Anya Taylor-Joy, Jenna Ortega, Margot Robbie, Emma Stone, Florence Pugh, Jennifer Lawrence. Those are A-listers. Those are A-listers. You know, and you got past A-listers. You know, like Nicole Kidman. These are A-listers. Jennifer. What's her name again? Jennifer Aniston. These are A-listers, right? She's not an A-lister. Scarlett Johansson, she's not an A-lister. So for y'all to be coming around talking about she's not an A-lister. She's a B-lister at best. I was going to say C-list. But if you want to give her a B, all right, a B-list. Now, the problem with him getting with her is her fan base is only black women. That's it. Her fan base is only black women. That's her fan base. Not even black men. Not even black men. Who's watching a movie with her today as a grown adult in his 30s or 40s? The only time they were fans of her when they were in, high school and college, when they had a crush. You know how people say, yeah, that was my crush when I was in high school. That was my crush when I was in college. That's it. You grow out of that. She's in her 40s now. So nobody's black men ain't checking for her movies or anything. They're not her fan base. It's black women. Becky is definitely not her fan base. Maria is definitely not her fan. None of them are, except black women. So what ends up happening is, can she call Kelly Ripa, and say, hey, can Jonathan Majors come up there? And the reason why I'm saying that is because that's who's managing him. Yes, that's who's managing him. If you haven't paid attention, that's who's managing him. That's who's managing him. You think she wanted to get married to be under his leadership? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. She said, you know what? Here's an opportunity to make some money. Here's an opportunity to put somebody under the wing. She wanted to put somebody under the wing. She definitely didn't want to be under his leadership. She's not. Why would she want to? The last guy she was with, she didn't want to be under his leadership. So what is she getting? She didn't want to be under his leadership. She didn't want to have children. So what's the purpose of getting married? To put him through a humiliation ritual. That's the point. And to look like the hero. And to have some exposure on her. There hasn't been this much exposure on her in a long time. She's not popping in the theaters. So she like, all right, she's going to marry him under the guise she's helping out his public image. The thing is, you can't help him. He can only help himself. See, when that happened with him, black women were saying that, he got with a Becky. The Becky, did this to him, did that to him, and now she's coming in to save him. Explain where the save is at. When her fan base is y'all. Where's the save at? That's your fan base. Your fan base is black. Her fan base is black women. So if a fan base is black women and all her connections is with other black women, Keke Palme and her have a lot in common. They grew up in the business, right? So she probably called Keke Palme, right? And said, hey, could you bring Jonathan Majors up there? And Keke said, yes. Those are her connections. That's as far as her connections go. She said yes. The thing is, Keke Palme doesn't have the reach. She only people who tune into her is black women. You saw all her supporters supporting Usher doing that, and her leading the way to the disrespect. And I'm not going to get into her and her relationship because there's a lot of stuff that don't sit right. We're not going to get into that. I'm talking about him. So if that's her fan base and her fan base can't stand you and she's managing you, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Simple as that. Every time he turns around and his manager tries to set him up with something, it's going to be within the people that's in her reach. And every time he shows up to try to get some exposure, they're going to shut it down. So is she helping you or hurting you? The brand is going down. He didn't need her. I knew this was, if y'all remember, I said this is only going to hurt him when he first got with her. I made a video. Okay, it didn't work out with Becky. Doesn't mean you go back. That's just going to hurt your brand. That's it. I said this a while ago when they first got together. I said this is only going to hurt his brand. What he was supposed to do was keep his love life private and work back into the good graces of the public. Many actors did it. Robert Downey Jr., before Iron Man and Sherlock Holmes, he was in and out of jail. So much that rappers in the past used to make punchlines about it. Oh, I'm in and out of jail like Robert Downey Jr. I'm always behind a cell like Robert Downey Jr. I'm always locked up like Robert Downey. It was always punchlines and rappers rapping about it because he stayed in jail. Stayed to drugs. Sean Penn. Mark Wahlberg, infamous for being locked up, especially for the things that he was getting locked up. Look into his history. Nasty. Wesley Snipes went to jail, come out. He's working himself back. All he had to do was work himself back. That's it. They were in talks of bringing him back as Kang the Conqueror in Marvel. Work towards that. That's what he should be working towards, that. Work towards what he's doing. What he was doing when he first came out was trying to work back up. Work back into those sectors. You know, black women don't really care about, Marvel or DC movies. They really don't care about that. You go to the movie theaters, you don't see them in there. You don't see them in there. They're not interested in that. If you go to the movie theaters and there's a Marvel or DC movie and there's a Medea movie going on at the same time, you know where they going. You know where they going. They going to that Medea movie. Work towards that. Work towards the Marvel. Work towards getting back the Kang the Conqueror role. A role that he was pretty good in. Work back in that. That will help you. Don't try to get into these spaces with them. They don't want you there. They don't want you there. He really put himself in a bad position. He thought that she was going to help him fix his image. No. No. Every time he steps out with her, he stood on stage and said that, you know, she basically, I'm paraphrasing that, she saved his life, you know, stayed in his corner, started crying and all that. And they still was like, nah, get him up out of here. She can't do nothing for him as far as his career. Her career is done. And you can't help him on his image because the women that support her don't support him. So how can you help with his image when your fans don't support him? He was better off alone. And when I mean alone, not getting with her, don't do that. And if you're going to get with somebody that was not public and then work your way up. He did the worst thing. This is crazy. This one of the worst things he could have done. Why would you align yourself with a group of people who wouldn't pay 10 cents to get you out of jail if that was your bail? They're not coming to see your movies. He's a talented actor. They didn't like him before. This is all because he was with a Becky. Nothing more, nothing less. You know, before, I remember seeing videos pop up, lives of them going in on him. I remember a video by Compton Milan. Compton Milan is missing in action not for the reasons you think. I might do a video on that, but Compton Milan had a live stream up, and she had put a poll up there asking the women, do they find him attractive or not? And they were going in on him. They were going in on him. He looks like a foot. His face looked like it's smudged. You know, going in on him. actually, saying how much they don't like the way he looks. And that was just awful. That was just based off of him being with a Becky. That's it. Salute to the brothers in the Patreon. Couple of days ago. I put up a post, and it was a black woman, right? And she was with some Dusty Brad, and she made a post saying she's not, she's hold on. Let me I'm gonna read exactly what the post said. Let me go to the Patreon. Salute to the brothers in the Patreon. Give me a second. I'm gonna go straight to the Patreon for this. Because I was showing brothers just how much they are bothered. Just how bothered they are. But here we go. She said, again, y'all competition is stepping on y'all necks right now. And she's with a Dusty Brad, right? Basically saying they are competition and they stepping on our necks, right? So, a brother was in her comment section with his Becky, and he put, facts, y'all got to step your game up. She went to work after this pick too, talking about his Becky. He's in a bubble bath with his Becky. She got in the comment section right under his post, right? And put raccoon emojis. That's what she put. It's okay if he was out there. He never said anything. He never said nothing negative about black women. Never said. He just decided to date, and they didn't like his preference. Yet they can have a preference. They could boast and brag about them. And as long as you don't say nothing, it's cool. But soon as you say something and point out your preference, it's a problem. He is destroying his brand, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. He can't help. She can't help him. She can't help him. It's not doing what the task was. The task was to fix up his image. Only he can do that. Only he can do that. Everybody else that I named, those actors, they didn't get no PR by hooking up with a woman, and no, they kept working. They kept working. They let the work speak for itself. Sooner or later, you're going to have to invite me to the barbecue. Sooner or later, I'm going to be back at the table. All you have to do is let your work speak for itself. Come out with movies, choose certain roles, work on your scripts, work on your acting. Let your work speak for yourself. Speak for itself. You don't do this because it's now starting to backfire. Because now what you aligning yourself is what her fans. What you're aligning yourself is what her fans. When you align yourself with her fans, you're basically sinking your own ship because her fans don't rock with you. They don't rock with you. You see, look at Jay-Z. Look at Jay-Z. As time went on, his albums kept getting weaker and weaker and weaker. We can agree on that, right? His albums just kept getting weak. I'm not talking about after 2003, some of after American Gangster. I'm talking about as time kept going on in his last few projects. They just kept getting weak. They didn't have that feel, when you used to listen to his albums. They just kept getting weak. But he kept going number one. And everybody like, how is that? How does he keep going number one? This album is trash. Because of who he's aligned with. Who he's aligned with. He understands that all he need is 2 features from his wife on his album, and that's going to propel him to number one. He don't need his core fans anymore like that. He has her fans. Every time he drops an album, she promotes it like it's her album. She promotes it like it's her album. Every time he comes out with a single or anything, he has her and she has millions. Millions of fans. Way more than him. She has millions of followers. What's her hold on, let me look this up. Let me look this up right now, real quick. Come on. She has 312 million followers on Instagram. 312 million followers. So all she have to do is keep posting his album for a few days, drop a couple of commercials, couple of billboards with him and her together. Put some drama there, maybe some drama. Becky with the good hair, put some drama there. And it works for her too, but he benefits more because she's the bigger star. She's the biggest star. He's the most successful because of business ventures outside of music. But as far as music, she's the biggest star. So, by him being aligned with her, doesn't matter how trash the album is. It's going to always sell. It's going to always sell. Her fan base is vast. Her fan base is vast. It's going to always sell. No matter what type of music he got up there, it's gonna always sell. Why you think she can put out a country album and it's the best selling country? It's the fans. It's who you align with. My point is who you align with. It's who you align with. When you align with somebody, especially I'm talking about as far as the music biz, when whoever you aligned with, you're doing it, especially if you're trying to gain the fan base, especially if you're trying to, if you about to become a couple, whoever her fan base or his fan base is, they become yours. The problem here is he aligned with a woman that has a fan base that despise him. What can you do with that? What can you do with that? I'm asking. What can you can't do nothing with that. It's an exercise in futility. You can't do nothing with that. He's destroying his brand. Anyway, peace, salute, stay in the shadows.
You big dummy.